Hi, we're back with another Friday night video. I am Jeffri-Lynn Campbell with Blaze Experts, and here with me is Jarrett Ransom, aka the nonprofit nerd with the Rayvan Group. Hi, Jarrett.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. This is going to be so much fun.
You and I having fun? No way.
And guess what? You can even swear.
Oh.
I mean, you are on here with me, right?
Yes. Be warned.
Okay, I'm going to jump right in, okay?
Yeah. Have
You
at it.
have the most amazing rags to riches story about how you got into ownership of your own business for yourself 10-ish years ago. Didn't we just celebrate your 10th anniversary?
Yes, last year. So 11.
Okay, 11 years. Tell your story.
What do you mean? It's been perfect. No, so
I
you're
was
right.
just born this way.
I need a tiara. No, you're right. So complete rags to riches. Had no intention of starting a business. I actually,
Like this.
of course you have a tiara. So 2009, the economy tanked in 2008-ish, right? And then 2009, I was asked to lay off my team. I was chief development officer for a nonprofit in Arizona. And then 6 months later, I got the hatchet. So I became reduction in force. I was managing the philanthropic efforts for a $21 million operating nonprofit. So that's a really big organization for a nonprofit, right? Yeah. And so like I said, I was asked to lay off my team. That was really hard for me to do. I was much younger at that time, and I had to let go of staff that was several years older than me. So I still can replay that entire conversation. I had to have several of those conversations. And then I was laid off. So I literally walked out of there without a cell phone, without a laptop, because now we all have 4 of each of those. But in 2009, you didn't. So I literally walked out, drove home, had no way of contacting my friends or my family. So about 2 weeks, maybe a little longer, I decided, okay, it's time to uncurl from the fetal position, right? I was just pity party, self-wallowing, woe is me. I drank a lot of wine and ate a lot of pizza for those weeks. Mm-hmm. And finally, I was like, okay, buckle up, right? Go to the library, figure out what you can do. And sure, I was applying for jobs, but I come from an entrepreneur family. Both of my parents are entrepreneurs. So that spirit of entrepreneurship and lifestyle runs deep in my blood. Some days I wish it didn't, but it really does. And I just decided, now's the time to become a consultant. So I started out 2009 writing grants for a lot of nonprofits. But they still needed to manage their grants, and they still needed to depend on that revenue source. So I built my business 2009 predominantly as a grant writer, and have completely pivoted since then. So 11 years. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, you pivoted to what? What do you do now?
I pivoted. I decided to have a purposeful, profitable pivot. So big into alliteration, and those are 3 P's, right? So I decided to have a purposeful, profitable pivot away from grants because it wasn't my passion, another P, and I'm full of those today, and really into what sparks my joy, and really where I feel is my zone of genius, my creativity. And that for those of you watching and listening, it's those things that come easy for you, right? And you think, oh my gosh, I'm getting paid to do this. That is your zone of genius. And for me, it's it's speaking. So keynote speech, MCs, having these conversations is really just easy. I'm a complete extrovert. If you're not an extrovert, I have plenty of that to go around. And then doing strategic planning. And just really, diving into that. I do some interim executive leadership work as well. So I've pivoted completely from the grant writing. And in fact, have said like, no, this isn't something I do anymore. So let me refer you to another professional. And so I really focus on what feeds my soul and my passion.
How did you, because your brand, we have also done purposeful pivots with a
Yes.
few times.
Yes.
Because from the Rayvan group originally, that brand really looked like grant writing.
Yes.
It looked like kind of that's what we did. So
Yes.
then we took you all the way the other way to nonprofit nerd status. So show us what that looks like. Come on. I know you've got to
ready?
try. I'm ready. Ah! Nonprofit nerd.
Right.
And we went all the way over there. And then we said, okay, even though we're having all this fun as the nonprofit nerd, we're doing nerd out strategy sessions, we're doing that fun Jarrett inspires thing. Exactly.
We're getting cozy.
Now we kind of came back more toward the center and blended the two.
Yes.
So that it's Jarrett,
yes,
the nonprofit nerd, with Rayvan Group.
That's right. Yeah.
How's that one feeling?
Oh, it feels so good, honestly. And I'm gonna take these glasses off because they really don't help me. They're just super cute. Especially the tape. Like no one can question that that's a nerd, right? But yeah, so I had really just for the Rayvan Group, because I created the logo 10, 11 years ago, was just an R and a G. So R for Rayvan, G for group, and in a little circle. And that was like, done. Definitely not professionally done, but it was done. And then I've just been calling myself the nonprofit nerd, like hashtag nonprofit nerd. And that's who I am. And that is how I identify, because I can totally nerd out over this topic. I always say until you're blue in the face, because I never will be. I just love it, right? I just love it so much. And then really just, I've noticed over time, right, is that so many people, when they hire the Rayvan Group, they're really hiring Jarrett. So they're hiring me as their speaker. They're hiring me as their MC. They're hiring me for my panache, another P. Who knew? I knew all these like words. But my passion, right? Like I am just filled with so much passion and a little bit of quirkiness. And so going from what my brand used to be 10, 11 years ago to what my brand is today, I feel like it fits me like a glove, right? Like I thought, and I think this is really important to share, when I started my consulting practice in 2009, I thought, oh my gosh, I need a new wardrobe. I need to fit the part. I need to dress the part. I need to like serve in this role of being a consultant, which means a little stuffy, very conservative looking, really polished. I think it also helps that I grew up in South Carolina, so I kind of had that learned behavior. And now fast forward to 2020, and like my head is halfway shaved. I'm wearing like a tank top and a blazer, very colorful, and that's just, it's who I am, and it's a better representation of me, and it also attracts a better representation of the clients I want to work with.
You got that right.
Right? Like I would say the Statler and Waldorf, which are the old men up in the balcony from the Muppets, like if you remember the shows, right? I don't want those men signing my contracts. I don't want the same old, this is how we've always done it mentality with the clients I work with. I want the fresh, let's think outside of the box. Hell, let's not even know that the box exists. That's who I want to work with. So embrace your quirkiness.
Well, now I know where we're such a match made in heaven. I don't have any quirks at all. No. I was trying to think of a P word that was similar to humility, to say, and you're so humble, but with the P word, but I couldn't think of one.
No. I don't either.
I'll think of something, and if I do, I'll like superimpose it across the bottom of your thing.
Please do. Yeah.
So really, your brand even though it's bigger than you, because you have had grant writers working with you, you have done all these things, and you have the Jarrett Inspires kind of speeches that you do, plus the, hey, put a board together and figure out your shit kind of thing. But your personal brand infuses everything, and really externally bigger than the people that know you, the reputation that you have grown organically, the nonprofit nerd forward thing you have had out on social media and on your, you're hosting a radio show. Remind me.
The NPO talk show.
The NPO talk show and things like that, where your personality can really come through.
Absolutely.
That has given us so much more feedback and attracted so much attention and engagement.
Absolutely.
Tell about that.
Well, and even the language I use, right? So as you create the brand language that you want to use, again, 2009, I thought it needed to be very like polished and formal. And now I'm using contractions and, hey, subject lines like, don't ghost me for this event, and like just fun stuff, because for me, it's really about being me and having this authentic brand, this authentic life. I think it goes, you know, it's worth sharing right now. I don't believe in a work-life balance, which people are like, what? I believe in a blend. So a work-life blend, which means I am me. I am me when I'm working. I am me when I'm out camping. I am me when I'm the mom. I am me when I am facilitating your board retreat and showing up on your stage for your keynote speech. So for me, it's like, I don't ever have to worry about what hat I'm putting on, because it's just a big blend. I show up as the authentic nonprofit nerd that I am in all areas of my life. So that's really been great. And you're right. It's like the language that I use in all of my content is me. It's really casual, informal. And, you know, I get so much feedback on that, Jeffri-Lynn, of people saying, oh my gosh, I resonate with that so much. Or did you write that email for me? Or what you just said was my life. And, you know, and it's like just having this authentic space to lead in the nonprofit sector has served me so much better in the last, how long have we known each other? 18 months than the past decade plus, since 2009, because I'm just embracing who I am and that brand really just like trails up, blazes, it blazes forward.
Yay!
Hey, points for me. But it does. It's totally like people know what they get when they get me. And that's, you know, and that's why I get a lot of the contracts and projects and calls that I do with my clients is, hey, we heard you, or we hear that you have high energy, and that's what we want. We want someone that's going to raise the level of our board or raise the level of our organization or a conference. And I'm like, you want energy? I'll bring energy.
Well, and that's the thing. That's one thing I do love about you, Jarrett, and it is another P, but passion fuels your brand all the way through. Mm-hmm. It does. And when you are doing that, then you attract the people you do your best work with and for. Yes. The ones that you like to work with.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I always know it's kind of like dating, right? Like you can feel if it's going to vibe or not, right? Like you can almost see the red flags of a prospective client or whatever in a sales call or in a conversation before you even get any further. You're like, you know what? I don't think I'm the right fit for you. So you can let them down easy and know that there's a better fit out there.
Yeah. The next one's coming.
Absolutely.
Okay, so the really big question, I know there's been more than one fuck up.
A life of them.
What's one big fuck up you can tell us about that you learned from the first freaking time?
Oh my God, which one do I pick, right?
Yeah.
There's so many, right? But really, I'm gonna say for my biggest fuck up, it's to see those red flags and to like push them aside or sew them together in a blanket. And I'm talking about these sales conversations or just conversations that you see the dollar signs and you're like, oh my gosh, I would love to have that money, right? Like I would love to have that security by way of financial security. And I'm just going to push some of these other things aside of what they've said or their culture and their work environment or the culture of the board. And I'm like, I can work through that. And no, pay attention to those. Right. And for me, it's so clear because I really do want to work in alignment. And I'm going to say, no matter the amount of money, my time is worth more. My life and my energy is worth more. So I've learned that, not just once, but a couple of times. I still have to test. I have to test that one, right? It's like putting a square peg into a round hole and it's like, oh, I can do it. And then it's like, Jarrett, you know, you can't do this. Like, you know better. You've done this before. So that's really my big fuck up moment where I try to make something work and it's not meant to work. So it's just another reminder to say, that's not for you. And you know that.
But knowing you, it's another P word. It is persistence. You're tenacious about it and you're persistent and you're like, I can make it work. I will make it work. It's just not going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knew we had all these P's? Wow. Passion, purposeful, profitable, pivot, persistence, panache.
Panache. That was a good one.
That's a good one. If I was playing Scrabble, I would win.
If you had P's on your board. But if you didn't, I'm not so sure.
You're right. You're right.
You're right. I know you're right.
I know. I thought ganache instead.
So if someone is active in the nonprofit sector, is interested in what you have to offer, would love some inspirational panache from their stage at their conference, how would they reach out to you and get in touch, my dear?
Well, if you too want these glasses for just 3 installments of $29.99, no, I'm just kidding. But they are fun, and I do give these out at a lot of places. But theravengroup.com, so it sounds like the bird, but it's spelled completely different. So it's the Rayvan, Rayvan group.com, but go on Insta or the gram and Nonprofit Nerd. You'll find me there, hashtag Nonprofit Nerd or Nonprofit Nerd. Nonprofit_nerd.
Yep.
Yeah, and you will find me. So I also share a lot of resources because my heart goes out to the grassroots organizations, the underdogs, the startup organizations. So I have committed my passion to startups as well as multi-million-dollar organizations. So there's YouTube videos. Jeffrey, you mentioned early the NPO talk show. So that's linked on my website. Tons of free resources that I provide. And then of course, you know, there are other paid services, not grant writing though. And I know, I'm so like excited to say that. And that's all on my website. So you can find it there. And then also Instagram, Facebook too, but I'm really more on Instagram now.
You kind of are on, what did you say? The gram.
The gram. I think that's what millennials call it. Or Insta.
I think I say Insta, and I'm so far from a millennial.
Okay, then it's the gram.
I love you more than my luggage. And I have great luggage.
Yeah.
Okay. What else? Anything else we need to talk about before? Is that a unicorn?
Don't you love unicorns?
I love fat unicorns, so I kind of like that one, yeah.
This one's kind of fat.
He is kind of fat.
It is. It is. My son gave that to me for Mother's Day. But you know what's really interesting, Jeffrey, is in the nonprofit world, we're kind of referred to, not kind of, as unicorns, right? Like just creating magic, this magical outcome or this magical like blank check donor will show up out of anywhere. So there's actually a Facebook group and it's called like, actually I don't know what it's called, something about unicorn. Nonprofit unicorns, maybe that's it. But yeah, so that is a unicorn. What else to know?
That makes sense though, Jarrett, because nonprofits, with all of the impact they do in the world, it is magic.
It's magic. And they often do it with like, it's like MacGyver. You have a straw, you have duct tape, and a paperclip. Go save the world. It's so true though, right? And then it's like,
That is the best soundbite ever. Nonprofits are like MacGyver.
yes, it's so true. So really, they're so resourceful. That's something you and I were talking about offline, just in our lives in general. Nonprofits are extremely resourceful because every year they have to zero balance their budget, which simply means every penny that they bring in, they have to spend. So every year they're starting over at zero. And they often work from a scarcity mindset. And so when I will talk and with my clients, and I'll say, if I had a magic wand, right, and I could grant you any wish, what would you ask for? And I kid you not, I have received this answer before. A new coffee pot in the break room would be nice. And I'm like, I will buy you a new freaking coffee pot if that's what you want. Let's think bigger. Let's think like $1 million donor. Let's think capacity building. Let's think, board development. Let's think expanding your program to another county or another city or another state. So yes, we often do magic.
Okay. If you're, giving away coffee pots.
I just don't do Keurigs though, but yeah, coffee pots. That was their mindset. I'm like, let's think bigger. And that's definitely what I do is, okay, let's get out of this bare bones scarcity mindset. Let's think big because that's where I want to take you.
Well, what better way to end this? Okay, all you guys who are listening, think bigger.
Think bigger.
Go big.
Go big or stay home.
Don't even go home. Just stay there.
Just stay there. But yeah, I have more of these if you want them.
Thank you. Thank you to the nonprofit nerd, Jarrett Ransom of the Rayvan Group. The Rayvan Group. It's THE, like the Home Depot, theravengroup.com. Thanks, Jarrett. See you soon.
Thanks. This was fun.
Bye.